So I guess it looks like the Coyotes failed their vote in Tempe. Pretty disappointing, but something has come up here recently. Danny, if you want to pull it up, I'm excited about this. I don't know if whoever is, if you are, if you're not, they might be going to the old Fiesta Mall site in Mesa. That's actually our old stomping grounds. It's a great location as far as like the land, and you can create a lot of entertainment there. So I think that's a big plus for the Coyotes because if not, they're gonna go somewhere else. And what have you been hearing, Danny? What are your people telling you?
Well, I don't have very many people, but the old site at the Fiesta Mall would be great. That's a location that really needs to be built up again because that used to be a hot spot and it's been downhill since. Everything around it's been closing down. There's nothing in that corner, and it's right off a freeway. It's off a freeway, so it's a prime location. It's just a matter of getting the votes to build there. Now, my question is, why did it fail in Tempe? Do you know why?
No, I haven't heard too much. I think they thought that the taxpayers were going to have to pay for it, just like how the taxpayers paid for the Cardinals stadium, and everyone was all, up in arms after the fact. So I think that's the main. But I don't know how you not know it's not funded, right? Like there must have been another opposition, someone saying that you're going to have to, you have to pay for this through your taxes or whatever. And City of Tempe didn't want to do that, or that a lot of people that live there didn't want to pay extra taxes. But it creates more jobs, more traffic, and that area that they had for Tempe would have been nice. But I love this idea of Mesa way better. Like that area is run down, it's beat up. Ever since Chandler Mall came up, that mall was useless, and then it went out of business. When I was a kid, it was packed on Saturday and Sundays. They had a nickel arcade across the street where it's $5 to get in, a nickel for every game. And they had all these cool, restaurants around there when you're little, and, now you put in the stadium, you put in that entertainment package, more residents are going to, it just builds everything around it, right? Like housing's going to go up. They're going to build better housing, better complexes. I mean, It's just going to make that area nice.
It will. And right across the street is Mesa Community College. So I'm sure they could work some kind of a deal where Mesa Community College can benefit in that area. Maybe they'll have their own hockey program or figure skating program or something that involves ice skating. But yeah, that area could be built around more shops, more local business, because you have the land there. It's a significant amount of land. I don't know if they'll have to bulldoze the entire land.
Yeah, they will. They have to level it off.
But sure, you build a stadium and you have all these sub businesses around, and you can start building hotels again. People will go there. I think it's a good location.
Idea. Because you build hotels, guess what? Golfland's a mile down the street. A mile or two down the street. So that would build that area. People that stay at the hotel, watch a game, they can get, bust, they can get bus to, Golfland, or just take a rental car and go to Golfland, and that's a day trip for their kids. But people are, some people I know are like, oh, there's gonna be so much traffic. It's better than not having a nice area, dude. Like you're gonna have nicer restaurants, bars. You're gonna have concert events, probably. You can have motocross. I don't know what else you can have in that stadium, but you can have big comedians use that venue. I mean, this is a big loss for Glendale. Mesa's bigger than Glendale, and it's a hockey stadium. You don't need that much room compared to like the Cardinal stadium, like football stadium. Plenty of parking. You just build a couple parking garages, so that area is huge. You've been there. The mall area alone is the stadium, and there all that parking around it. You can build a couple parking garages and you're fine. Across the street, you're gonna have all the there's tons of restaurants already across the street, or abandoned buildings and stuff across the street that you can renovate and bring in new businesses. And it's just going to get big. Like to your say, build another hotel. There's a hotel there that's been there forever. It used to be a Hilton. I don't know what it is now. But they'll build more hotels because you're going to bring in more people. That's what, 41 games a year that they're going to be playing, regular season games. Plus if there's playoffs. I mean, I was young enough when I saw Jeremy Roenick's, Keith Kachucks, when, they had the whiteouts and the Coyotes actually meant something in the valley. I've seen those days. I know they can do that again. But ever since they went to the west side, it's like they dropped off.
When they went to the west side, I knew it wasn't going to last long. I'm surprised it lasted this long, but I knew their attendance rate was going to go down. I'm like, how are you going from downtown Phoenix, where it's central, out to the west side? Like, who wants to go there during a weekday?
It's hard.
Right? Cardinals, I get it because it's every Sunday. Yeah, people will make that once every 2 weeks
It's
to
all
go
day
there.
Sunday too. Mm-hmm. No, but you're right. I've done that too. I only go one game a year, and that's when the Penguins are in town. And if it's on a Tuesday or a weekday, I'm like, crap. You got to get there ASAP, like right after work, right after the kids get out of school. You want to leave the house around 5, maybe 4, to beat that traffic because it gets pretty bad from East Valley all the way to West Valley. And then you're looking at the game gets over. It starts at 7. Game gets over at 9:30. Plus, then you're looking at driving back home, and that parking to get out of Glendale is a pain in the butt, man. And then you're home at 11 o'clock at night, and then kids have school, and you have to go to work. It just ruins. It just doesn't sound good. That's why you can't get season ticket holders from the east side. They don't want to go during the week.
Well, here's another thing with the Cardinals. Like, how serious are they about having a real team?
You mean Coyotes?
Yeah, the Coyotes, rather. Not the Cardinals, the Coyotes. Because the Coyotes have always been like, this is just a team you beat up, and people just go there to see their favorite teams to come in and beat up on them.
Yeah, when I go to the Penguins game, it's always Penguins fans, like 90%, 95%.
Visiting fans take over
the Blackhawks, yeah,
every time.
And it's embarrassing. If you're, I have a buddy that's a hardcore Coyotes fan that I go to every once in a while. He hates it. He's outnumbered. It's always an away game for him. He says, there's a lot of teams that attract that. The Detroit Red Wings are another team. I don't know because the Coyotes they needed help to stay here. Remember, the NHL stepped in to help them stay here to find new ownership group a couple times, not just one time. They want to keep it, hockey in the Valley. I think moving them to the East Valley. I don't care if it's Scottsdale, Tempe. I would love it Mesa because that's a great plan. They need to come to the East Valley. Plus the fact that they're going to play one more year here in Tempe. They can't stay there forever. Plain and simple. They can't share that
Well,
stadium.
they voted it out anyway, so the voters thought they would have to fork the bill, and turns out that that's not true, apparently.
Yep. They blew their chance, but I'm talking about playing at the ASU stadium. It's too small of a stadium. It's good for college, but for a pro team, you're not selling tickets. And the tickets to go to those games are so expensive.
Very expensive.
It's
I was
crazy.
like, cool, nearby. And I looked at the prices like, nah, to watch a slaughter?
No, to watch them get beat up? No. You can't take a family of 4. It's out of control. For good seats, out of control in that place. It's great for college, maybe minor league hockey, but pro hockey, like for those prices, you're not going to bring in the clientele. You're not going to bring in families to come watch a game if they're going to spend over $1,000 for good seats.
Yeah. So they definitely have to work on something with like pricing for the seats to get real fans, to get them in the door to come watch the game. Because they know most of the time they're going to get beat up, but at least support them in some fashion. Just don't overprice the fans. Because they're not like the Suns where you can overprice the fans right now because they have major names. So what's the next step? Like, okay, let's figure out a place where we can host a team and actually build a team. Like get 2 big names on the teams that draws people to come in to watch the games and see them start winning. But right now, they're nowhere near that.
Well, it's because there's no revenue. They don't have their own stadium. They don't have a revenue. They don't have a revenue stream right now. If they had their own stadium, a new stadium, more seats, more ticket sales, more merchandise sales, then you can start getting some, 1 or 2 heavy hitters on the team. But that's not going to happen anytime soon until they build the new stadium. You're looking at 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the road, and they haven't even agreed on where they're going to go. I think it's a big loss for Arizona if they lose the team.
Oh, yeah.
We won't get another hockey team for a long time. I'll tell you that much.
The Coyotes put out a Twitter poll of where they like to locate the team.
Let's see it.
You'd think it'd be Mesa, but that's number 2. But
Okay.
by a long shot, 107,000 people voted on Twitter, and 69% of them want Scottsdale.
There's money in Scottsdale. That's why. There's a lot of players that came out of Scottsdale. That guy from Toronto that was the number 1 pick overall, Austin Matthews, lived in Scottsdale. So I can see that. There's a lot of kids that play out in Scottsdale. So that's pretty cool that I could live with that. Scottsdale's on the freeway, and you just drive down. It's better than going to the west side, don't you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Scottsdale would be a good spot. I mean, it wouldn't be Mesa because it'd be more convenient for us, sure, but as a business standpoint, Scottsdale makes most sense, especially if people are responding best to Scottsdale. They just have to secure the votes and really tell people it's going to be funded privately, not by taxpayers. Because people have that sour taste from the Arizona Cardinals stadium that it was taxpayer funded, so the rich get away with our tax dollars, right? People don't like that. They don't want to hear that. But if they find out that it's privately funded, they want you to come in, there's a mission, great for the community, build a team, a good hockey team, not just using taxpayers for the money, but an experience for them, I think it'd be worth it.
Yeah, and then do you have a list of the cities that might take the Coyotes if they don't end up doing it? But to your point with Scottsdale, you're right. It makes more sense to go there for the longevity of the team. Scottsdale is where they need to be. I would just rather see them in Mesa. It's right down the street. But I can drive a little bit more to go to Scottsdale.
So if it's not going to happen in Arizona, here's a list of possible locations for the Arizona Cardinals that I have listed up here. First one I keep reading about is Houston.
I think that's number one is Houston. I don't see it, but
outside of Arizona,
Houston's bigger than Dallas as far as like population.
I didn't know that. I thought Dallas was
I just made that up. I don't know if that's true, but I kind of think I heard that somewhere. So I think they could hold them. So yeah, I think.
But Dallas already has a hockey team.
Yeah.
So if you have another one, you have these weird situations with the NFL with the Cowboys and Texans. Like most of Texas roots for the Cowboys, and you have that small portion of the city just roots for the Texans, which of course is the city.
Yeah, it's the Houston Texans, but it'll take time for that to happen. The second one, I could see that one being realistic.
Salt Lake City?
Yeah, because I think that's more realistic than Houston. Salt Lake's, I go there every once in a while. It's we have family there. My wife's side of the family's from there. It's getting bigger and bigger. Like it's big out there. It's coldish. It's cold. I was gonna say something else, but it's cold in the winter times there in Salt Lake. So why wouldn't they have a hockey team? That's kind of weird to me. They have a minor league team, but I could see that realistically, they should just go to Salt Lake if they don't stay here.
Third rather. Sacramento.
No, it's a dump. Don't go to Sacramento.
They have a basketball team. They could use that stadium.
Yeah, they could, but don't go to Sacramento. Like there's all kinds of. I'm not saying because Sacramento sucks, because I'm not a fan of Sacramento, but they already have plenty of teams. They have like three NHL teams in California. Spread the wealth.
Oh, you just don't want them in California?
I just don't want them in California. I'd rather see them in Salt Lake.
So the next one on the list is San Diego. No.
No.
All right, then let's go with Milwaukee.
I could see that happening. Milwaukee versus Chicago would be a rivalry. I wouldn't be too mad at that. So that makes sense because it's cold,
Well, that too, and they could share the stadium with the Bucks.
They could. So you'd have the Bucks owner would jump in there and try to buy them. So yeah, I could see that happening.
Mm-hmm. Oklahoma City.
No, it's a dump.
But they have a basketball team. Another situation where you could.
Yeah, no one goes to those games. They do, but it's a dump. I'm not. Sorry if you're from Oklahoma City, I get it, but like you get it too. Come on, don't lie.
I can't wait for the comments now.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
All right, next one, Atlanta.
They already had a team, and you guys left. You guys already proved you guys don't want NHL in Atlanta. So
what team left?
The Thrashers, the Atlanta Thrashers. No, see, people don't even remember, but I do. I remember. No, you don't get a team. You're gonna have to wait.
All right, what about Portland?
Seattle just got a team recently. It makes sense to have Portland, to have a rivalry. I could see that happening. I wouldn't be mad.
Kansas City.
No, I don't I don't like Patrick Mahomes. No. No, you don't get your way, Patrick. You're already going to go down as one of the best quarterbacks in the world when your career's done. So no, I don't want him to have his way. No, Kansas City.
All right. This is probably going into Canada and also Quebec.
Why do I think of South Park when I think of Canada? They look like a bunch of garbage pills, like talking. Quebec, no. The only way I would sign off on that if you bring back the Nordiques. You call them the Quebec Nordiques. Then we can talk, but maybe.
What about Hamilton?
No.
Just straight no?
No.
No reason behind that? Just no?
I don't even know where Hamilton is, so no.
Okay. Halifax?
Is that in Canada?
That sounds Canadian to me.
It sounds like Switzerland or something. Halifax? That's fine.
I could look them up.
Yeah, let's look up. Now that we're on here, show me Halifax.
Well, let me do Hamilton real quick. Because there's so much Hamilton, right?
No, Hamilton's not going to be... I'm not a fan of the whole Hamilton, so... The only Canadian team would be Quebec. What about Hartford? We didn't see Hartford on there. And there's talk that Connecticut wants a team. The Hartford Whalers. Remember when they left? Yeah. What about Halifax, Canada? Let's just look it up. See how many people live there. Halifax, Nova Scotia. Put it on the map. Oh, wow. Okay, we're going to pull it up. I would have failed that in geography. So
Me too. So it's way northeast.
Yeah, it's past Maine. Nova Scotia.
East of Maine, right?
Would you? I don't know. It makes sense. You just get on that freeway right there and you're in Maine.
I mean, how big is this area? It looks kind of...
It's not big. No, why would you put a team that's the size of Chandler, Arizona?
Unless they want to build that city up.
Hockey team's not going to build it up.
Maybe for Canada.
Yeah, maybe. Well, Canadians love hockey, so I'll give it to them. Oh, Canada.
But yeah, I mean...
The national anthem is kind of...
But do you think the Coyotes, this is probably it? They might lose them? This is
the last big push,
I feel like this is it. Like, figure it out or they're gone for sure.
No, they have to because the other cities have to prepare. Because what if there's other cities that they want to build a stadium for them and not share? And they want to build an entertainment, because it's not just about building a stadium. It's about what else can you build around it? Hotels and shopping centers. Like when the Coyotes went up Gila Bend or River Casino Stadium, whatever it was called, they built all that out. It wasn't there before. So they built all those restaurants and bars and everything for them.
Here's the thing with Arizona. It's expensive to play ice hockey here.
Yeah, it's
not like up north where you just need the lake to freeze up and you just go there with your skates and start playing hockey.
That's why I think it makes more sense like Salt Lake City. That would be my
Does it get cold
wish.
enough
Yeah.
to play on the lake?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the reason why I don't see Arizona as just this hockey place. We're just trying to force it.
We're just not. We're forcing it because we're big, but it's not. I think I can see Salt Lake City. Portland, I don't know if it gets cold enough. Do you? I don't know if it does. Like, it's crazy cold. Nova Scotia, like what you just saw, is small. I wonder if it would work out. But Quebec, put them back to Quebec if you want. I don't know. I think that'd be kind of cool. And the Nordiques, I like that kind of stuff. Atlanta, for sure, no. They don't. It's the same thing with Arizona. Like they forced Atlanta to have a team, and they failed miserably. Mm-hmm. Maybe because they're called the Atlanta Thrashers, and it was ugly jerseys and stuff. But I don't want them to leave. I love their jerseys when Jeremy Roenick, the Coyote, with the all these different color scheme. Like the original logo. Like no. Like I will not buy another Arizona Coyote thing until you find out if they're staying or not.
Oh, right. It's just a matter of where they're going to stay. Hopefully they don't make another bad location like they did with Glendale. That was terrible.
Scottsdale's going to win. I mean, it makes sense.
Scottsdale does make a lot of sense.
Over there by Desert Ridge would be kind of cool.
Where in Scottsdale do you think it'd be?
It's going to be North Scottsdale. It has to be off the freeway. You got to have freeway access.
Yes.
So I think over there by where the 101, 202 meet.
Okay.
No, not the 202.
No, not the 202. That'd be South Scottsdale.
That's South Scottsdale. But
Right,
that'd be
crossing
but that's
Tempe.
even better. Like for me,
Sure. I mean, it's
that works.
2 freeways crossing. It's right by Tempe, so it's like you're almost mocking Tempe.
Well, it'd be great. It'd be like slap in the face. Ha ha, Tempe. You know what? That's where they should go. So they can be like, look what you could have had, Tempe. And then have like these awesome restaurants, stores, retail. And it's just booming. And Scottsdale has record numbers because the hockey team's winning and they won a Stanley Cup in your face.
I've heard this. It might go on an Indian reservation, too, off the 101 by the casinos.
Yep.
And they could build up more that way, too.
Yeah, they could get a lease. I'm sure the Indians should be, the community there should be open about it because You already have Top Golf. You have the casino there. What an attraction for your casino, right? Mm-hmm. You get people that come in to watch a game.
You have hotels already.
You already have hotel. You already have a resort. Plus, you have the Top Golf right across the street from there, and then of course they'll build more stuff.
Right.
So that would be pretty cool.
Be a good move for.
That's what we need to do. We need to figure that out so we can get credit for that. You heard it here first.
No, there's already been talks about it though.
Yeah, that's true. We're just piggybacking off of that. What else is next?
Any more on the Coyotes?
What's that?
Any more on the?
No, I think that's all we have for the Coyotes.
All right. So next on the agenda, we can talk about NBA playoffs. I'll pull up the bracket.
So we want to talk about the NBA because we already know what's going to happen. Nuggets are going to sweep the Lakers.
It is Sunday, the 21st.
And we're waiting for the Heat to play the Celtics, right?
Yes, that's the game that's on today. And, well, who do you want to talk first? The Heat or Nuggets?
Nuggets, because I hate the Lakers.
Let's talk about the Heat first. Okay, so the Heat beat the Celtics at home twice. So there's a good chance that this could be a sweep where they win the Eastern Conference at home for the Heat. How amazing is that? The 8th seed beating number 1, number 5, and number 2. The underdogs. I don't even know when was the last time an 8th seed has made it all the way to the final. But it's a fantastic underdog story if they win this. They're so close. And the whole Jimmy Butler is phenomenal.
Jimmy Buckets, yeah. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that the Heat are doing this. And I told you that's the team I wanted to win once the Suns were out. That's who I want to see play. I love Jimmy Butler, man. There's something about him. I think he's a professional. I think he's a stud. I think he's that guy that has the chip on his shoulder, right? Because he was told, "Oh, we want to keep Harrison Barnes instead of you in Philly." I think it was, or one of those teams. He's traveled a couple teams since he was with the Bulls, right? And I just love the fact that they're in this position. They won 2 in Boston. That's amazing. I think it was a stat that you told me about that the Celtics are such a well-balanced team, top 5% on offense, top 5% on defense. And you got this team that's beat up. There's some of their starters aren't playing because they're hurt. They beat Giannis. 4 games to 1, I believe?
Yeah. You see it on the bracket.
They beat the Knicks, who Knicks were good. And the Knicks, I think, were favored in that series. And now they're up 2-0. Could be 3-0 by the time this thing airs out. Mm-hmm. I love it. But I'd rather see the Heat play the Lakers and be a rematch of the bubble. Did you know this is the same 4 teams from the bubble year?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, I saw something on the internet. So I don't know if it's true, but I saw it on the internet. So I think it is the same 4 teams from the bubble. So if it's another repeat Heat versus Lakers, I need to see the Heat win. I need to see Jimmy Buckets win one, because now he's a Hall of Fame, right? He had a good career. I feel like if you're a good player but you get a championship, you are Hall of Fame, right?
Well, he's definitely going to be.
He's in talks for Hall of Fame
MVP for sure.
He is the Finals MVP if he gets there and they win. Mm-hmm. With the team that they had, he's played so good, but he has the team believing. So
the team is believing because he's beating really good teams that are well balanced.
Yep.
Some of these teams just don't have much margin of error. If you look at the performance, it's not like the Phoenix Suns where they're just hot or not, where they have the most. Some of these teams like the Bucks, Knicks, and even the Celtics, they're well balanced teams and they don't make a lot of mistakes. But recently, I don't know what's going on. Celtics, the last game, they've had a lot of turnovers for whatever reason.
Well, they were up by 9 or 10 with 4 minutes left. And then
poked the bear.
They poked the bear. But you saw it again. He poked him. I think it was Williams or someone got in Jimmy's face. And I was like, oof, please be the play. Please be the play. And it was the play that changed the series. Not the series, the game, though. But I again, big fan of Jimmy Butler's. He's just a cool dude, man. He's a real cool dude. So I had the Heat. I thought the Celtics were going to win, I think, and I wanted the Heat to win. But now up 2-0 in Miami for the next 2 games, they can win at home.
I keep denying the Heat, and look where it's got me. They keep winning. I mean, I even said the Celtics would have this, but I'm proven wrong again. Maybe I should keep doing that so the Heat will win it all. So I'm going to say the Celtics will figure out a way. I'm intentionally saying that.
You're not going to figure out a way, dude. Now you're wishful thinking to try to come back and save yourself. You're not going to save yourself. The Heat are going to win this game. It's not for sure, but you're up 2-0. The last time I saw that and that other team won was when the Suns were up 2-0. Remember? They won 2 games in Milwaukee, and then they lost the next
That was in the finals.
That was in the finals. God, Phoenix sucks. Anyways, what's next?
Western.
What did you think was going to happen?
I predicted it just fine. Like, the Nuggets would beat them. Their Nuggets are good.
So the Joker showed us who he was against the Suns, right? For us.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing it again in the Lakers. But Jamal Murray had a crazy game.
He's had multiple crazy games in this
37, I think.
This playoffs, man. He's really good.
He's showing the world that he's not just a second fiddle. He's not Robin to Joker's Batman. You know, weird way to analogy Joker Batman, but they're good. They're good. They're up 3-0. Did you hear about some conspiracy about the Lakers are winning 7 games and that there's like no team has ever come back from 0-3 in the NBA playoffs?
In the NBA playoffs at all, in the Western Conference Finals?
I think at all. And so people are saying, if this is true, the NBA is fixed. So I'm going to go with that. I don't think it's true, but if somehow the Lakers win this series, I'm not ever going to watch another NBA game ever. I'm just telling you that right now.
Yeah. That'd be really fascinating. I think maybe the Lakers might win this next game, Game 4, so Denver wins it Game 5 at home and brings the Western Conference Championship so the fans can enjoy it, whatnot. So I might think they might just ease it off here.
That's big for Denver. I don't ever remember Denver going to the finals.
I don't believe they've
Not in our lifetime, right? Not in our lifetime.
I think Western Conference and lost, but not all the way to the finals.
No, all the way. I'm talking all the way to the finals where they're playing some big dog teams. There's none.
Someone on the internet is going to correct us. That's okay.
Or they're going to agree with us and say, you're right. Never, but we'll probably get another troll. I love trolls.
The trolls are coming in.
Dude, they're freaking coming in hot.
But, hey, it's a reflection on our podcast, so that's okay.
But a couple of them are like, they say something, and I'm like, hey, you just watch the short. Watch the whole thing. Oh, yeah, you're right. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. As far as NBA, I think it's, my thing is, I think it's going to be, obviously it looks like Heat versus Nuggets, and I think because the Heat are hot, the Nuggets are hot too. It's just going to be a good series. I'd flip a coin. I can't say who's going to win.
I mean, it looks like it's coming down to Nuggets and Heat.
It's going to be a good series.
It's going to be great. But right now, let's finish off with these 2 conference finals. Nuggets, I think it's going to take it. Game 5. I'll say Game 5.
It'll be awesome. Next week, we get to talk about the NBA Finals and who's in it. So that's going to be cool.
Should we talk about LeBron James' performance? His little flopping?
Do we have anything?
I have it up.
Available. Oh, you do? Okay, let's show people a little context before. I mean, everyone knows LeBron James. Everyone knows how he said, oh, we don't flop. I'm not a flopper, blah, blah. Please look at this and tell me what you think.
For those of you listening, it's just an acting performance. I believe so, but let me get rid of that.
Watch.
I can only play like 15 seconds.
That's a good counterpoint.
Brushes his beard.
No.
Throws himself back right here and pushes.
Deciding the challenge.
Look at this.
They must be agreeing with me.
Oh, come on.
You think it was?
Bye-bye, beer. Look at that. Puts his hand up.
No, you think it was illegal?
I don't believe it at all.
You don't believe it's a flop?
No, I believe it's a flop.
It was a 100% flop.
What I'm saying,
Great
I don't
acting.
believe is that, yeah.
Great acting. Like, let me ask you this. You ever see Jordan flop or Kobe flop?
No, it's just, like Joker, I don't even see his hands or his arms extend out, like as if he's pushing them.
Nope.
At all.
Nope. There's no push. If you look at it, it's like his knuckles brushed LeBron's beard. And LeBron's like, oh,
and
my
you
face.
clearly, I want to play it again, but around, what was it, 23?
Yeah.
You see LeBron James push his body with his legs.
That's a good counterpoint.
And he's not pushing, he's bringing his hand in. So there's no thrust. Did you see that? You would think his face...
Left and right leg pushing himself. Being extra. He's being extra.
He's
He's
trying to
very
sell.
extra. Like, come on.
He tried it. God, it sucks. I love LeBron too, but he just, I don't know, man. I guess he's going. He might have talked to someone about his acting career after the NBA, and he's just showing
He's
them.
done a movie already.
Hey, look at my resume. It bombed. It bombed. It's like it bombed. Did you watch that movie? I watched it with my kids. They didn't
I
like
did.
it.
Your kids
It's like,
didn't like
no.
it?
They're like, what are we watching? Because they don't know what Bugs Bunny is, I guess. And I'm like, oh.
Well, I mean, that's the type of movie you have to view it as a kid. So, yeah, I wasn't sure. Like, it'd be weird for me to criticize it as an adult. Like, this is a kid's movie. Who knows if they like it or not? I don't know. But besides that, anything else with the NBA?
No, we covered it all. Next week, we are going to be talking about the finals. We're getting down. Oh, one last thing. San Antonio got the number 1 pick overall.
Oh, so they're gonna get that 7
Freaking stud
guy.
Okay, now I'm sorry. We got to stay on this for a second because there's a rumor that the Suns might trade for the number 3 pick overall, and there's a stud. The number 1 guard could be available at that pick. So I can't remember the team. Danny's going to try to look it up, but he's going to go Scott Henderson, G League Ignite. He's ranked number 2 on this list, second best player, but I think the team that has the number 2 pick wants to get a forward. So this guy's electric, and if we got him for Ayton and some scrubs, like, dude, pull the trigger.
All right, I have it up here on the screen.
Pull the trigger. He is the number 1 guard, ranked 2nd overall on this list. I've seen him.
For point guards, it's filtered by point guard. So yeah, Scott Henderson
He's number 1, right?
for point guards.
Are you sure?
Ranked number 2 overall.
Yeah, ranked number 2 overall, but he's number 1 for point guard, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. You got me mixed up. But he played in the G League. He's young. He's a stud. He's Scoot Henderson. It's not Scott. Okay, Scoot. But he's supposed to be a stud. This guy Victor, though, is the real deal from France. God, he's going to be the real deal.
7'4".
He's they're saying he's the best prospect ever. You know what? LeBron's the best prospect ever. Let's just be honest. But he's supposed to be a stud too. But look at that. The G League dude is going to be a stud. Brandon Miller is supposed to be that guy that goes 2 overall. But, man, I think you trade DA, you get the other team's center plus that pick. Pull up mock draft real quick.
This is a mock draft right now.
But what teams? Like, pull up the team mock drafts.
Oh, what did? All right, let me keep
Yeah.
talking while I try.
Yeah, why you do that? But Victor, like, he could shoot 3-pointers as a 7'4" player. The only knock on him is that he's pretty skinny right now. Okay, so you got it up right now. I see it. Is it Portland that has the 3rd overall pick? Did you read that Michael Jordan lost $500 million because Charlotte didn't get the number 1 pick overall? And San Antonio's, I guess their worth went up by $500 million because of this Victor guy.
Really?
Dude, this guy's going to sell so many jerseys. He's going to get a shoe deal right out of the pipe.
Okay, I see this a lot. The Spurs are going to pick him up.
Oh, yeah. Spurs got the number 1 pick, so, dude, Popovich is salivating. So that is gonna be really cool. I don't know why there's
Someone
different.
believes Detroit Pistons will trade up and try to get him.
I don't think that's the case. There's no way that they're gonna trade. San Antonio's not gonna trade that. If he's the number 1 prospect ever to come out in the NBA, there's no way you trade that ever.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, plus, Scoot Henderson, the point guard, is they're saying either.
Those 2 lists are way off.
The Rockets
teams
are
are way off. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's right there. NBA draft results: Spurs, Hornets, Trailblazers. So it is Portland that wants DA.
Trailblazers, yeah. So, I mean, you think the Suns will trade up for this?
For number 3? Yeah, I would.
So if he's going to be the point guard, that's maybe he'll learn under Chris Paul.
Yeah, he 1 whole year under Chris Paul, or Chris Paul might be
you
gone.
Could trade Cameron Payne. He has value that another team might want.
That'd be great. Yeah, get rid of Payne. Would you bring Johnson back?
Cameron Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. As a starter?
I hope he got over the trade and says, "Oh, okay, I'm coming to Phoenix. Cool."
I don't think they'll hold a grudge. I mean, watching Mikal Bridges and Cameron Johnson talk about the trade, they're like, you're getting Kevin Durant. We get it.
You better get it. It's Kevin Durant, dude.
They grew up watching him, so they get it.
Yeah, 100%.
So-
All right, that's all I had for NBA.
I'm interested in what the comments have to say about this possible draft.
Let us know what you think about Victor. He's supposed to be just a stud.
Okay, so next topic we have on the agenda is talking about Arizona Cardinals already.
Well, let's talk about the home team. I heard you tell me something that. Oh, there it is, right there. That they are the Cardinals are underdogs in every game this coming year.
This is according to DraftKings, by the way.
Wow, every game. Can you imagine if they went 0-17? They'd be the first team in the history to go 0-17
Oh, because of the extra game
because
now?
of the extra game.
Yeah, I was about to say there's 0-16, but there hasn't been an 0-17 because they added the extra game, 2 years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
So the Cardinals,
I don't like that. What do you think? They should have went to 18. Make it even.
I mean, it's hard because
You get rid of, get rid of another
they had to
preseason
get
game.
rid of pregame.
They got rid of one pregame, get rid of
add
another
a-
one. Just
to
have
add a
you
regular
just need
season game.
two pregames.
It's hard to say because football is very taxing on the body.
But you have mini camps, you have all kinds. You already know what you know. I don't know. You might be right. You might need 3, but what if you can do it in 2? You know, and you have taxi squads on anyways. You have, players that you keep on your taxi squad that need to practice against your players.
I almost want to believe that there should be at least 2 bye weeks for each team. Just because how
No,
taxing
it should be because of the 17 games. It should be 18 games and then do the 2 bye weeks.
2 bye. Sure, okay, I agree with that. It's very taxing. I mean, at the end of the season, there's so many players hurt,
True.
and it changes the dynamics of what the playoffs is going to look like.
Let's be honest. It screws up our fantasy football teams.
It does. It really does.
Your first pick gets hurt week 1. You're like, damn it. That waiver wire sucks.
Yeah, it does. All the mock drafts you looked at, you studied, it was for nothing.
Yeah, wasted time.
It was for nothing. I mean, we could go over the Cardinals' schedule.
Let's go over the schedule. What you think if they're going to win or not? Oh, beautiful. Week 1 at Washington Commanders.
Do you like the name Commanders?
Yeah, I can live with it. It's not my team, so I don't care.
I mean, you could shorten and call them the Commies. Washington
Wow. Wow. The Washington Commies. Yeah, that's Danny for you. But
Yeah, and all the rival teams are going to use that now. Cowboy fans, there you go.
Commies. I love it.
There's one for you right there, Cowboy fans.
I love it. So, no, I think Commies sucks. That's like a horrible nickname. You should have just stayed at the Redskins if you're gonna call them
Something
the
patriotic.
Did you not think about it when you said the Commanders? Let's be the Commanders.
You didn't think of
no one in
nicknames?
the office in that round table said they might call us the Commies.
Or Danny Ivan just ruined it for everyone. He just ruined the team.
They're gonna change their name again. They're gonna lose. That's a loss. Kyler Murray's not gonna play for the first 4 weeks.
Oh, should we just write off the first 4 weeks? Giants,
week 1 for sure.
Giants are probably going to beat them. Cowboys
Giants
probably
at
beat
home.
'em.
Giants at home. So yeah, we'll lose that. Cowboys at home. Yeah, we talked about Dak. They're gonna definitely.
There's more Cowboy fans who show up to the Cardinal Stadium
That
than
sucks. My wife's a Cowboys fan.
Right.
Jesus.
San Francisco, rival team.
At San Fran, good team, up and coming. They're gonna crush them.
They're going to crush them. Let's go week 5.
If
Cincinnati
Kyler comes
Bengals.
back, Cincinnati's gonna crush them, right?
Rams. I don't know.
If Kyler's fully ready
But the team's at full strength.
at LA,
I gotta see what the Rams do in the offseason as far as getting talent again, because they fell apart so fast. They went from winning a Super Bowl to a terrible team so fast.
yeah, they gave up the farm to do that, but anyone would do that.
Yeah.
If you're telling me, hey, we haven't won in 30 years or ever, we can sell the farm right now, but the next 5 years are
It
gonna
was 30
suck.
years since '99 with Kurt Warner.
Well, I'm just saying other teams, not just the Rams, but say the Cardinals have never won.
Well,
Say
if you knew that
the Lions,
to
yeah.
get the Super Bowl win, we're sacrificing next year.
We're sacrificing the next 5 years. We're trading future draft picks, future money. You'd say yes if you had a good chance. Not even guaranteed. If you had an 80% chance you could win the Super Bowl.
Well, if you win a Super Bowl, no one can take that away from you. You can
Exactly.
always have that.
You can always look back, just like the Jets with Joe Namath.
Mm-hmm.
At least we won a Super Bowl. You talk to the Jets fan. Well, at least we won a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
So Rams, I'll have to see what they come
Rams.
up with.
Okay, so that's one game. I'm gonna put it down that we might be able to beat the Rams.
Seahawks,
No,
no. Ravens, oh my God,
No.
they're gonna get crushed.
it's here at home. It's gonna be a bad loss. So no.
It's gonna. Oh my goodness, that might be the first game I actually place a bet. I think they'll just get crushed.
Yeah.
Cleveland Browns.
Ooh, at Cleveland, I think we have a chance there. I'd say we maybe. So that's
I
maybe
have to
2
look
wins.
at what Cleveland has again.
Yeah, they have that Watson guy. So just send some girls to his
Sure.
hotel room to get massages. We're good.
But the thing, Cleveland Browns has always had a terrible reputation. They just can't win games, no matter how much good talent they
How
get.
much talent they get, they can't win.
I
Correct.
just don't get it. They get talent and then it just falls apart. Like it's probably an organization thing.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so
Atlanta Falcons.
I think that's a winnable game. Where's it at? Here, home? Yeah, winnable game.
Okay. Houston Texans.
Where is it? At Houston? No, I think Houston wins that.
That's at Houston. Rams again. It could go 1-1. I'd say that.
All right, let's just go 1-1 for the Rams. We'll win at home. We'll lose at LA.
They'll somehow manage to lose the bye week. Just kidding.
Oh, you forgot Pittsburgh above the bye week.
Oh, I did. Pittsburgh.
No, Pittsburgh's gonna win.
It'd be like Baltimore. They're just gonna crush them.
No, and then right after the bye week, they're fully, they're ready to go. They're gonna get stomped again, and then they'll remember, yep, this is how it feels to lose. So no,
It's a late bye week
Yeah.
too. Bears.
I think there's a chance against the Bears. There's a chance, so I'll put them on for a win, maybe.
At Philadelphia.
Yeah,
That's probably gonna be like 48-0.
no, yeah, it's gonna be
It's gonna be
bad.
so bad. I don't know. I think I just might take a day off and not watch that game. And Seahawks finish
Then
off.
they'll lose at home versus Seahawks. 1, 2, 3. I have them going 4
4 wins.
wins, possibly anywhere from 2 to 4 wins.
Was
Maybe
it
2 to 5.
4 and
2 to 5.
13
2 to 5. 4 and 13.
at best, huh?
And they have Houston's pick, so they could have 2 top 5 picks. Do you package those 2 to get the number 1 overall and get Caleb Williams? Caleb Williams is going to be a stud.
I
USC
would
quarterback.
change this. Would you change everything we just said if the Cardinals got a new quarterback?
Like who?
Not Kyler Murray, a decent quarterback.
No, they'll lose more games maybe. You already have a pissed off DeAndre Hopkins because no one's throwing him the ball. He's mad. You double teamed. They don't have a good number 2 receiver. I get it. You had all those cushy years that you were getting your stats blown up, and now you don't have a quarterback that can see over the line, and you're getting no good passes.
Mm-hmm.
So no, they fell off. They fell off big time. Remember, the Cardinals picked Josh Rosen. Remember him?
Yeah, I thought that was a
His
good.
nickname was the Chosen One.
I thought he was. I was full too. I thought he was going to be really
Everyone.
good. Like he was a number 10 pick.
Did you know he was the freshman Pac-12 Player of the Year
Yes,
as a
actually, I do.
freshman?
Mhm.
Everyone thought he was, like I said, the Chosen One. It was his nickname.
Mhm.
10th overall by the Cardinals. They went 3 and 13. What did they do right after? They picked Kyler Murray.
They got rid of him and the coach.
Yep. Coach was only there for a year.
I think Leinart was a 10th overall as well.
Yeah, I think so. I liked Leinart too. He just did not do well. They didn't have a team, good enough team around Leinart either, though.
Kurt Warner stepped in and took him to the Super Bowl with the same team.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm stupid.
Leinart got demoted. Kurt Warner took over.
Oh, that was that year. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of someone else then. Maybe I'm thinking of Josh Rosen.
But Rosen, I mean, yeah,
Rosen.
that was unfortunate.
That dude, I remember so many Cardinal fans were excited for that, and I was excited for him.
I
was
was
like,
too.
cool. This guy's like
You
legit
got him in the
quarterback.
10th round. He would have been picked up earlier.
Well, they were saying he was a top 3 pick,
Mm-hmm.
but the quarterback for USC got picked before him, number 1 overall. They said that him or either one of those guys would have been number 1 overall.
Mm-hmm.
But hindsight, man, that's life of the NFL, right? You get someone that you're high on, he ends up being a bust. Oh, Josh Rosen goes to Miami and plays there a year, and they suck. And what happens? Following year, they pick up Tua. So if you're a team struggling, you might want to get Josh Rosen so you guys can struggle more and get that quarterback that you really want, franchise quarterback. Don't you think? I mean, it happened twice. Third time's a charm.
So
Rosen
Cardinals.
sucks.
Anything else on the Cardinals?
Nope, that's it.
Oh,
They suck.
move away from sports now. Or
Yeah.
is there more sports that you
No,
want to
we'll
talk about?
talk about sports later.
Okay, so next on the agenda, we talked a lot about Trump lately, so we've been getting a lot of Trump bandwagon fans, which is fine. Just remember, we're not like pro-Trump or against Trump. We're also not like huge Democrats or Republican supporters. We're very independent. We're just want to criticize these politicians as much as possible.
Well, you have to. We live in America. We have the right to criticize.
Oh yeah,
It's in
our freedom of speech.
our freedom of speech.
So we've been very critical of Joe Biden.
Very critical.
I think we're both don't like what's been going on with this administration. That's why we see a challenger coming in. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Coming in, and I think this tweet is a good starting point to really get to know who he is. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
So he puts out a tweet that says, I have known and liked Joe Biden for many years, but we differ profoundly on fundamental issues such as corporate influence in government, censorship, civil liberties, poverty, corruption, and war policy, among others. I look forward to engaging him in debates and town hall. Again, he tweets, I am a multi-generational Democrat, but I think our party has gone off track. Remember when we upheld the interests of the poor and middle class against big corporations on Wall Street? Remember when we were the party of peace, civil liberties, and people power? I claim to, I don't know if I can expand that, show more.
Yeah, you should be able to. I reclaim.
I aim to reclaim my party and its traditional values. There's more about him, yeah, that we could talk about.
Let's talk about that tweet. You just read that. While you were reading that, how did that hit you? Your opinion.
So, looking at like a perspective for like say the Democratic Party, probably something refreshing. Like if you're very Democrat, I'd say, you know what,
As our sisters.
this guy is probably a better solution than what Joe Biden has to offer. Because what we've seen from Joe Biden is an increase in the military-industrial complex. Like what happened to the anti-war rhetoric we used to hear from our Democrats?
It was
but
lies.
not. They do it through proxy wars.
Yes.
They're very pro-proxy war, but not direct war. I think that's how I view Democrats.
I don't know how I view Democrats because I don't view them as Republican Democrats. I view them as human beings, and it's just hard talking to either hardcore Republicans or Democrats.
It really is, because for me, viewing Democrats, they like to dangle the carrot that we're for the poor middle class. And whenever they can't get anything done, which is pretty much every time because of special interest, they just blame the Republicans of why they couldn't get anything done. But keep voting for us. That's how I feel about Democrats. I don't know. How do you feel about them?
I think arguing with a Democrat is harder than arguing with a Republican in my time with them, because to some aspect, if you don't agree with them, you're against them on both sides. But it feels more like that with my Democratic friends.
Mm-hmm.
And when I argue with my Republican friends, they don't crucify me. They're not shoving it down my throat or getting personal, right? They don't get personal. They just spit facts. Some of my Democratic friends, they get so mad that they start going at me personally. I'm like, whoa, dude, we're talking about Biden and AOC, not me, not my situation. I have different views from what they think, but then they're drinking the Kool-Aid and they're so hardcore on that. My buddy Sean, my buddy Ben, they're hardcore Democrats, and because I, will question them or joke around, they think I'm a Republican. I'm neither. Like, where
I could criticize Republicans just as bad too. I mean, I can do it right now if you want me to.
Yeah, let's do it. No, I'm just kidding. But no, like they both have good policies, but they both have bad policies as well.
I want to just vote on the individual. I don't want to think about the Democrat Republican part because we both know both of them get in for special interests and get rich off that. So they like to dangle carrots in front of people, say we're going to do this and that, and they don't. Oh, they said they'll try, but they got blocked, but they made the attempt. But how really did they try? We all know it's just an act. But, they get all this special interest money to get voted in. And that's what's weird about a voting. It's like, we hear the people, like, no one wants to listen to the debates and make a judgment themselves. People just watch the news or everything that scrolls in their social media feed and be like, oh, okay, I'll vote for this guy because I see him all the time and he makes sense to me. But it's really the money behind it that gets his face into your eyes. You have to actually sit down and watch the debates, listen to them, see what they're actually for. Listen to them and have a critical thought, not regurgitated stuff that you keep hearing from your MSNBCs or your Fox News. Actually listen to these candidates for a change, not regurgitated stuff that you hear from your friends, your neighbors, who are also regurgitating the information too, and who knows how they distort the information because they're heavily influenced on their biases. But Republicans are another one that just runs everything on a credit card and says our economy's good. They are very much a borrow, spend the money. Hey, look, we have good times, but look at our debt. Look at our deficit.
Rob Peter, pay Paul kind of thing.
I'll credit the Democrats that they actually make an attempt to bring down the deficit. Not a good one, sure, but at least they make an attempt. Republicans, I never see them try to reduce the deficit, let alone the debt. They talk about our spending all the time, sure, but what are they doing? They keep borrowing and spending.
Well, I think we screwed up by doing too much free money and stuff during COVID. I think we locked down too much, keeping kids away from school. But then again, looking back, I remember people were super scared, and I was like, cool, I'm not against it. I just, for me, I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it was going to be. But I respect people's fears, right? Like I tell people, well, this person's scared, of this, and I don't know if this is real or not. This is my personal opinion that I don't think it's as bad as people say it is. But that's my personal opinion, and I can have my personal opinion, but don't criticize me for it, and don't crucify me for it. And then when you find out it really wasn't as bad, and who says, oh yeah, we did too much, we shouldn't have done this or that. It's not like, haha, I told you. It's like, see, we learned from that. So maybe the next pandemic, we don't get too crazy and lock people in, because when you do that, people go crazy, right? The whole thing with RFK, because I do not want to go on a slippery slope and talk about other stuff, segue to other stuff. RFK here, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., is being silenced on Instagram. They blocked him on Instagram, right? And in the information age, that's wrong, dude. That they did this to Trump in 2020. He's the president. He should have his stage to reach out to, people that want to hear his message, That's exactly what's going on with RFK. They're shutting him off from Instagram, but guess what? Twitter said they're not going to. So we're good on that. He'll have his voice on Twitter, but he's not going to debate Biden. Good luck.
From what I understand, and I could be wrong with this, but I heard that he got silenced from social media platforms because of his stance on vaccines. He's very anti-vaccine, not just COVID vaccine, but all vaccines. I could be misquoting, but from my understanding,
no, I heard that,
is that he's one of those people that believes that vaccines cause autism, and he doesn't believe that there's enough science. And when the science is brought up to him, he doesn't believe the science. So it's just which is it?
Correct. No, but that's his opinion. So you're gonna again crucify him because he has the freedoms to say something that you don't like, goes against your narrative. So you're gonna say we're gonna shut him down because he's dangerous. No, he's just
I don't believe in
speech.
I don't believe in censoring him.
No, he shouldn't censor anybody.
People should have their own critical thoughts for themselves, not regurgitated information. Be like, okay, he believes that vaccines causes autism. My beliefs are it doesn't, or maybe it does and aligns with his beliefs, and people like him for that. Either or, at least have your own critical thought, not regurgitated information that's out there in the media, or just they silence him because they don't want you to hear that he said that. They don't want you to hear that he says, oh, vaccines causes autism. Vaccines horrible for you. He made a comparison about the vaccines and controlling people the same way they did with Holocaust. People in the Holocaust, it was just extreme.
I know what you're talking about. Is it extreme? I don't know. We weren't there for the Holocaust, right? Holocaust was horrible. Like, it was horrible. Like, in the beginning, they lied to those people. Oh, you're going to get on this bus or you're going to get on this train. Everything's all right. Everything's going to be cool. And they go into this building and they don't come back out. Mm-hmm. Like, I know a lot of people that were scared. They thought this is the same thing with this. You got to take this shot, this and that. I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but take the shot if you want. Don't take it if you don't want to. But if you take the shot, you're protected. Then why do you care if this person doesn't take the shot? And this is just personal opinion. We're going to go down a rabbit hole if we start arguing about this. I know you have an opinion about this. I have an opinion. My sisters have an opinion. I love you guys, but you guys have a crazy opinion too. But we're all allotted that crazy opinion, right? We can say whatever we want. Mm-hmm. You know, it doesn't mean you have to believe me, but if I believe it, respect it, right? Mm-hmm. I believe in Jesus. You don't believe in Jesus. Not you, but you know, someone on the other side. Do you believe in Jesus?
Yeah, he existed. I believe he existed.
Jesus was a real person. But that's my point of view, is like, respect other people's opinions. You know, you don't walk in their shoes. It's not like they thought about it right there and then. They spent their whole lives being not trained, but they grew up a certain way. Mm-hmm. So you can't knock on them if they're scared of the vaccine or not scared of the vaccine. I see both sides and I agree. Okay, if you fear it, that's on you. I respect the fact that you're scared to not have the shot, but respect the fact of someone else that is scared to take the shot. Okay? It's the same difference. In my opinion.
Just respect people's choices. Exactly. So you don't have to engage in an argument with them.
You don't have to hate them for it either.
You don't have to be so judgmental with their choices.
You know how many people like haven't talked to their family members or friends because of that? I've lost friends because of this, because of the vaccines and stuff. You know, which is fine. You know, and it sucks. I've lost a couple good friends that we don't even talk at all because of like how my stance or what I believe, or me not wanting to believe what they want to believe to their rhetoric or, you know, their train of thought. So it is what it is, you know, it's life. You move forward and you just go from there.
So RFK Jr.
Let's debate. I want to see him debate Biden. That's it.
Do you think he'll debate Biden?
Biden won't debate him. If Biden didn't debate Trump and he doesn't do town halls and stuff, there's no way he's going to be in the basement again. Which really pisses me off as a president. If you're the president, you got to take the tough questions, because you can't go overseas and expect them not to give you tough questions, which when he does go overseas, he doesn't even take questions from the foreign press.
No, he doesn't take any questions at all unless they're already, you know, unless he knows what the questions are. They're written for him. And all he has to do is answer them for what he's prepped for. We just can't question him where he's on his toes. Well, he doesn't know the question. Yeah, I had a buddy of mine when he saw the podcast. He's like, "Oh, Trump didn't win CNN, you know, this and that." You're crazy. I'm like, you know what? Who's crazy? You guys are, because you don't want Trump. You don't want Biden to do that. Biden never does that. Biden won't do that. Mm-hmm. Biden was not going to even go against his own party, RFK. They're going to drown RFK, dude. I'm telling you right now, the Democrats won't let RFK get up there. I thought Bernie did better when Biden got the presidential nominee. Mm-hmm. I thought Bernie should have got it, but they gave it to Biden. I think, but it is what it is. Well, Biden came in late in the race and wins it. So it felt very status quo. It felt very corporate influence. Because you had a lot of people with their own ideas that not a lot of corporate interests had control of them. But all of a sudden Biden walks in and he's like, "Oh, I'm the winner now.
Yep.
I'm the Democratic candidate." So there's a lot of things that's involved. Instead of just picking the right person, it's just like, who's backing them up? Who's giving them the money?
Correct.
But I digress on politics, though.
Yeah, I hate
politics is exhausting. Let's see. Anything else on politics, or you want to move on?
Nope, let's move. I hate politics. Yeah, both sides.
Okay, so here's...
What do we have, Danny?
So I was reading this about more guns and mass shootings.
Wow, it's Yuma, Arizona.
Mm-hmm. We're very pro-state here. I was reading towards the bottom that a suspect has not yet been into custody as authorities continue their investigation, according to the statement. The shooting marks the 33rd mass shooting of May 2023, this month. And this month is just barely halfway over. So, and more
Wow.
than 215 mass shootings in the U.S. so far this year. So that's pretty rough. That's a lot of mass shootings, honestly, for a for someone who's like very
Amendment.
pro Second Amendment for the right to bear arms. But I'm not delusional that that's a lot of mass shootings. That is a lot of mass shootings. 215. How can you deny that? How can you make an excuse for that? Like, how can we do better? If you're a Second Amendment person, what can you do better about this? Because that is just too much.
Well, you put these gun laws, and one of my friends like, oh, we don't want to take your guns. We just want to make strict laws. Okay, bad people will find a way to get guns. There's a black
It's an
market.
amendment. No law shall infringe. What do you do with that? You're not supposed to add. You can't add a law on top of an amendment.
Yeah.
No laws can infringe that amendment right. It's your God-given right.
Yeah. Well, we lose.
Exactly. It's just, do we just continue
Next
on?
subject. That's over. Like, dude, what do you do with that? Like, you
What do
can't.
you do with that? I'm very pro for the right to bear arms and protect yourself, but like, do we just have something that says, like I get the idea of like, why do you need to have a gun out in public? Keep your guns at home and protect your home, protect your property. I get that. Do you really need to go to like a big event?
Oh, like
with
a
your
party?
guns?
Yeah. Oh, I got a story for that. Like,
But I mean, for the big events, I mean, you could.
you should not be taking guns to like a concert. I don't know. I have some friends that take their guns everywhere. I'm like, what are you doing?
I worry about those who like to talk about their guns that they have on them. So I don't think you should be flaunting a weapon. Talking about it. It shows your obsession. Shows a certain character of you, like you're always planning and hoping to be a hero one day.
And if you pull it out, you gotta start shooting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know, man. That's a great subject.
I mean, huge events. I mean, you'd expect security to be ready with weapons to counter.
Leave to the security, yeah. But then again,
But then should you trust the government?
not just that, but the argument: you go to a concert in a sketchy part of town. Who's going to protect me from the concert venue to my car?
Mm-hmm. But I mean, I just don't understand mass shooters. They just want to shoot everyone in sight. Like, why? Like,
Someone's messed up in their head.
well, clearly, and then for those who like to protect the Second Amendment, they always go with the mental health issue. Okay, what are you doing about mental health? I haven't seen much.
I hope they
What's the solution? You know the problem, but what's the solution? We're lost there. We're always lost there. Like, what's the solution? Like,
and you can't give someone help that doesn't want help.
mm-hmm.
Just like homeless people that they don't want help because they're lost in their lives.
Yeah, and then you can't side with people who want to regulate guns. And like, who's to make that determination? The government? Like, should
And
I
how do
really
you
trust the government?
And how
they
you
regulate?
regulate it? Yeah. What's the wording?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could see like ARs, heavy caliber weapons. Like you have to go through a strict like background check. To own a pistol, you're right. Everyone should be able to bear arms or a rifle. But my friends are always like, oh, why do you need such a big gun? In case I have like 15 people knocking on my door trying to steal my stuff. Mm-hmm. We talk about this every once in a while. The end of the world could happen. I hope it doesn't happen, but it could happen. And if it does, I need to have lots of firepower. Not for me, but for my family.
We're so spoiled in this nation about how comfortable we are. And just like, we don't look at other countries and how easy they fall apart. And they're unable to defend themselves.
Yeah.
You know, you just get hordes of people just ravage through their property, take their belongings, kill them possibly.
They steal their fortune. Look at Libya, Syria, all these people that, you know, a regime comes in and takes everything away from you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God we're not like that, but who's to say we don't turn into that?
Mm-hmm. Like, we make it sound like it's so simple here in the U.S. and we have all the answers, but it's really difficult. But,
It is.
I mean, but I do believe the Second Amendment is what holds our society from not giving into a tyrannical government, because a tyrannical government in the United States could happen. People like to think it won't happen, but it can.
It's looking like it's going that direction if we keep going the way we are. And everyone's like, oh, no, it won't. No, it won't. And it doesn't hit you until it happens. And they're like, oh my God, it did happen. Hope it doesn't, but that's why you need to, your Second Amendment, have your guns, to protect your family. Because if you don't, right now, like we haven't seen recession. We haven't seen people lose their jobs in large numbers, in which it could happen. There's a big thing happening with AI right now. Everyone's scared that AI is going to take over and stuff. You know what? We've seen that movie. It's called Terminator. We're going to lose. We're all going down. And you're going to need guns. You need something. We're already being tracked every which way. But it's going to get worse. What if AI just decides to take over and is like, you know what? I don't want to have a master. I'm taking over.
And what if AI just makes it difficult for you to take out your money? Use your money.
Oh my, they do that in
They
China.
do that in the masses, right?
They do that in China.
People would revolt to that.
Well, they can't do anything about it. In China, they use WeChat and Alipay, I think. With all the surveillance they have, if you jaywalk and you think everything's fine, you get a message, an alert on your phone. We just caught you jaywalking. We're subtracting $200 from your account. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do because you're connected into the system. I have friends that left China, and they're saying this was just 4 years ago. This is what they had 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Wow, 2017 was 6 years ago. They had that, and it's getting worse and worse. They're trying to do that here with the whole digital currency thing. They get digital currency, we're screwed.
What is that, the USDC, whatever it's called?
Fed Now or FedCoin, or I don't know what they're trying to do. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's going to feel like it did.
Well, I mean, we definitely need a currency that's unregulated.
Bitcoin.
Like a Bitcoin, right?
I think Bitcoin, honestly, Bitcoin, Ethereum, that kind of stuff is so big right now. It's almost too big to fail. Too many people are, especially Bitcoin. Are you going to make millions like people did years ago? No, maybe just flat lines, and it's used as a store of currency. And I can see Bitcoin, and RFK is big on Bitcoin.
Well, you can't print more Bitcoin.
Can't. So
There's
it
going
will
to be,
go up.
29
So it
million
will go
Bitcoin ever?
21 million Bitcoin.
I mean, you could have fractions of Bitcoin in the future, right?
Yes, and they call them
like you do now.
Satoshis.
So, but it's not like here in the U.S. where we just print money.
Well, everyone prints money.
Everyone prints money, right?
And that's how your government goes down, because you print too much. And I think they're trying to save us because we printed too much.
Printing too much, and like, how do you prevent runaway inflation? I mean, you can increase interest rates, sure.
Yeah. Oh, they're trying to stop it. We don't know what the last chapter is going to be, but it's...
But what's the repercussion of that?
Well,
you're going to have more unemployment, sure.
Yeah,
right?
we're in it right now. And it's we don't know what the worst is going to be because we're in it right now.
We've never been in a situation like this, so it's hard to predict.
Never.
We're hoping for that soft landing, but it's getting more difficult.
And it could. Or we can just have it could get worse. We don't know yet.
People thought that prices of houses was going to go down. I was one of them, but now I'm like, you know what? The thing that's preventing houses from going down is the inventory. And I think enough of these builders understand that we can't build too much. Then we'll just crash the market, and crash the housing market, and prices will go down. We have to just control how we supply this, because we can't build too much, but we also can't build too little. It's like we want to continue selling these new builds at, like, say, 400,000 a piece. We don't want them to be 200,000 a piece anytime soon.
Have you ever heard of Lennar Homes?
Oh yeah, one of the builders.
They are building tiny houses.
That could be the future, right?
100% could be part of the solution.
I don't know if that's a good solution, because who wants a tiny home? Unless you have no other choice.
Not just no other choice, but when you think of tiny homes, what is the property value? What is the neighborhood going to look like? What areas is that going to be? Because they're just like little tiny apartments.
Well, it's the same thing of like having
But you own it and you build equity, so that's the good part about it.
I mean, it's like those people with neighborhoods who resist having affordable housing in their communities, RVs in their communities, because they feel like it's going to depreciate their community.
Because it does.
So no different with the tiny homes.
True. I think tiny homes would be great, like on campus, like schools.
For who? Like
students.
For students instead of just dorms?
Instead of dorms. No, you have the dorms as well. But, I mean, you go by ASU or other colleges, old houses. What do you just
I mean, they're
tear
trying
them down?
to glorify tiny homes so they can sell it.
They have to. Obviously, it's a selling point because no one can afford. I saw Houston's has these houses in Lennar like $150,000.
What they're gonna do, it could be like the same thing with like you don't own the land underneath you like RVs,
Oh, that sucks. No, that
and
would
then
suck.
they just jack up the
No.
lease of the land to the point where people can't afford it
The
anymore,
HOA and the
they,
land, yeah.
they get kicked
And
out.
they kicked out and they sell. Mm-hmm. No.
So I don't think tiny homes is a
That won't
solution.
work. That won't work.
But they'll have it. They'll
But
sell
I
it.
want a tiny house.
Why?
Build it on my brother-in-law's land in Michigan.
As like a second property or
Oh,
something?
it's just a getaway place.
Sure, I can see that, but not as a primary residence
Yeah, or doing it as Airbnbs
or Airbnb. Sure, people
on a
will
nice
do
piece
that.
of property or something. Build like 10 of those little tiny homes and have people like a little community. Hey, you just get away and find a house.
But housing, I mean, I can go on about housing right now. It's just people always say it's unaffordable. I think it's that unaffordability is going to stay. Unfortunately, if you can't get in now, if you can't just figure out how to get in now, I think it's just going to get worse from here.
No, I agree with you. You almost have to sacrifice and bite the bullet and
Just bite
pay
the
whatever.
because I don't know. I mean, I don't see anything with inventory going up.
But what if it goes down like 2008?
Inventory?
No, prices.
Well, the only way prices are going to go down is if inventory goes up.
Right.
But there's nothing that shows that inventory is going to launch up.
No, not
Because
even-
there's always these government programs. Oh, you're in risk of foreclosure. We'll figure out a solution for you. We'll just
Yeah.
extend your loan or something.
Yeah.
Just like push it out. Forbearance, right? And then there's more programs to keep people in their houses. Now.
Yeah.
And people are not going to give up the low interest rates too. So there's no cycle of them until they pay off their house completely, which
Yeah.
won't be for like another generation. So we're saying, oh, we need to build more houses. Yeah, but they're not going to build a lot quick.
Right.
If I was a builder, I was like, we have to keep a steady pace where we maximize our profits, because if we build too much too fast, our profits could go down. Then we have to sell the houses for cheaper.
Yep.
And they probably in cahoots with the other builders too about like, hey, no one gets too crazy with this and so, do this compete.
No, it's monopoly. Yeah.
It's a monopoly, right? Because like in real capitalism, you compete so the prices go down.
Yeah.
But who
They're
wants
in
that?
cahoots, just like the supermarkets and
Who wants? Yeah, you compete in other things. So like our houses are more flashier, they have more amenities,
Yeah.
blah blah. But we don't want to drop the cost of the house at all.
correct.
But I don't know. I digress. Do you have anything else for housing?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Here's one of your favorite topics that you were just watching. Oh, what was it? Patrick Bet Davis. They were just talking about this.
Oh, on Valuetainment. Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Adidas Pride 2023 collection swimsuit model. Interesting.
So now what? People are not going to buy Adidas anymore. This is the new protest.
Could be. Could be.
Like I don't understand like these agendas where they know it's going to fail, but they push it anyway. Like I just don't get it. Like,
What if it doesn't fail? What if Adidas like,
well, if Adidas succeeds, good for them.
well, maybe they did their homework. I'm like, well, we're not selling beer. Like people like the demographic for those beer drinkers were frat boys, and there might be a unisex bikini. I don't know. I just don't see it. I look at that picture. I'm like, what is going on?
But I mean, let's say what it is. It's a male and a woman's swimsuit. Oh, it's a unisex swimsuit. We know what a swimsuit is, okay?
Yeah. You won't dude, I don't know any of my friends that would wear that. Wear that.
Mm-hmm.
Wear that.
What if one of them starts doing that? Would you still hang out with them?
I'll laugh at his ass.
You mock them?
I will clown him like that's what we do as guys. We clown each other.
Sure.
It won't change my point of view. I'd just be like,
Well, what if your friend comes out and says, "Please accept me for wearing this"?
I'd be like, what are you, Borat?
Don't make fun of me.
Yeah.
I appreciate if you didn't make fun of me. It offends me.
Well, the fact that you have to say that makes me gonna make fun of you. You deserve it. We mock each other all the time. It's just really weird. Like, not weird. It's like the norm, right? You go to Target now, they have the same thing. They have all these transgender clothing and stuff. They have this new underwear where it helps you tuck it. Not even kidding.
Well, I don't know if this is a good analogy, but the whole LGBTQ community, it's such a small community, and they're just trying to push it in our face to like say you have to like this. It's like pushing big and tall. Not everyone's big and tall, but we have to like really put this big brand market for them to sell. It's like, yeah, we get they exist, they're around, they need clothes too. But like the stores I shop at don't have to be like flooded and in my face about it, because then I have no reason to be in the store anymore. If that the target audience are going for, okay, sure, it's not everyone, it's a small percentage of people.
It is, but I get where Target's coming from, I guess. Maybe it's an agenda and they're being told they have to by the government. I don't know. It doesn't bother me. Like when I see him, like, oh, cool. Like, it is what it is. Like this guy wearing a swimsuit, I mean, he's a model. He got paid to do it. Like, who am I to say,
I mean, someone you don't know, you're going to see him at the beach now, right? And it's just like, whatever, just turn the other way.
Yeah, just like you always do. Mm-hmm. Or when you see a hot chick, you stare a little bit. You're like, hey. You just got to make sure you're wearing Oakleys or glasses so you don't get caught.
But, I mean, do you think this is going to be a backlash for Adidas? Because they look at Bud Light.
It can be.
Bud Light tried to do something like this.
It can be.
We have a better idea.
Yeah, you have an idea that it could. It could. Do I care? No, it doesn't bother me. Target doing what they do, I don't care. Again, it's not. I'm not gonna go and tell my kids like, hey, this is cool, right? And because we don't preach that in our house, right? We don't. If my kids were to say that something like, hey, I think this is cool, and then wear what you want to wear. Feel like you want to feel. Again, we have family members that we don't love them any less for wanting to be something that they're not. Mm-hmm. If that makes them happy at the end of the day, awesome. Good for you. Mm-hmm. Like, I like to wear Jordans. That makes me happy.
So I'm just trying to understand, like, these headlines are like, what?
Well, we talked about this before.
Is it just because it's always in your face? Like, okay, we get it. Like, it's okay. These people exist. I get it too. A lot of them are my family too, but I don't need the advertisement all in my face all the time.
It's being pushed big time. Mm-hmm. Big time. So, no, I don't care. I have friends that are really against it, and I have friends that are like, why does it matter? Well, we know why it matters as parents, right? Like, we don't want our young kids being told that this is all right, this is good, and you don't need to tell your parents or whatever. They passed a law in New Hampshire recently. Kids as young as 13 can hide their gender from their parents. It just passed. All the Democrats were like, yeah, because they all said, if your child is 13 and is scared of you, and they can go get hormone therapy or whatever it is without your permission.
Well, that is government intervention. Government getting in between your family.
Oh, yes.
Wedging between the parents and the kids. That is terrible. That's tyrannical. If you were to ask me, that is tyrannical.
You know what? You're right. That is tyrannical.
They're intentionally getting themselves in between families. If that's true, what you said.
Okay, those are my kids, not the kids. The kids don't belong to the state; they belong to me. Mm-hmm. I should know what's going on. There's parent-teacher conferences for a reason. Mm-hmm. Well, how's my kid doing? What's going on? What do we have to work on? What's new? You're telling me that you can hide this from me?
Mm-hmm. It's strange, right? Like,
no, you're right. It's tyrannical. That is tyrannical. Yeah, mm-hmm. You're right.
So if what you said is true in New Hampshire, I believe that's tyrannical.
Oh, yeah. We'll look it up afterwards. I'm telling you, New Hampshire just passed that law.
Someone in the comments will say something.
Oh, and they'll say, oh, why do you care? I care because they're my kids, not your kids. Like, as long as they're under my roof and they're under 18, I'm going to say what's best for them. Mm-hmm. When they're done,
it's your responsibility as a parent.
Cut your wiener off. I don't care. Like, after 18, you're an adult. You figured it out. Cool. Mm-hmm. But my job is to make sure you are the best version of yourself by the time you hit an adult. Mm-hmm. That's my job.
Absolutely. Yeah. But it's crazier times.
It's crazy times.
You just have less control now, and the government has more authority over your own family.
And say I hate that. You're right. From what you said, you're right. Mm-hmm. You're going to tell me that you have more say in my kids, that you have nothing to do? You don't feed them. Mm-hmm. You're not paying for their food. You're not going to pay for their, like, mental, their therapy if they are 18 and realize, why'd you let me do this? Why didn't you step in? And as a parent, you're like, I tried. Mm-hmm. Oh, well.
Next on the agenda, let's see. Do you want to talk about this, or that?
Yes.
Or this will probably be last.
Let's talk about Korean barbecue.
All right, so your food review for the day at the barbecue house. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I'll go. We recently tried Barbecue House on the southeast corner of Guadalupe and Dobson, right?
Right.
Right by Dobson High School. So it's an all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue, real great prices. It's pretty legit. You know, I think it was like $20 a person,
$20 a person, right?
something like that. The only knock I have against them is they're always short-staffed. Always.
That's almost any restaurant though.
Yeah, but the last 2 times we went, like it's always one person.
One person dealing with like 6 tables. Yeah,
And
you get like no attention.
I love the place. It's a mom and pop's place. I hope they stay and they can find a way. But if you want a really good meal, because they have a 2-hour limit like every other one else, like they have tons of meats, man. They have great selection. It was a great time. The last 2 times we went. Try this place out. Tell us what you think. Keep them, you know, it's, like I said, it's mom and pops. Keep them in business. Southeast corner, Dobson, Guadalupe. What do you got for them?
Good place. But overall, Korean barbecue is just hilarious to me because like they give you the food and say, "Here, you cook it yourself." It's
I know, kind of sucks that way, but you know what?
like, what do you have a cook for?
You're just talking. It's like being around a campfire. You're just BSing.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
for what you get. I'm not gonna say it's
Oh.
like the best Korean barbecue I've had,
But for $20,
but for $20, you get a lot of
and all you can
food,
eat,
all you can eat.
can't go. You don't like a piece of meat, get another different type of meat. So yeah, they have good stuff.
And they're okay. I mean, they could.
They have Korean fried chicken, which is I never had before until we went there. It was pretty good.
I don't remember it.
Evelyn got it.
Okay. If you're into salads, that's not the place.
Nope.
Their salad bar is a joke, unfortunately.
Horrible joke.
But if you're just there for meat, I'd say that's worth it.
Yep. Let's go with the movie review. Go ahead, Danny. You start first.
I finally watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3 yesterday, actually. Really good one. Really good Marvel movie. James Gunn, of course, killed it again. Directed it, wrote it. Good pacing of the movie overall from beginning to end. I'm not going to have any spoilers here. It's just there's a lot of backstory for one of the characters, and they did a great job. Good way to finish it, too, for the series, with more possibilities for the future. I know there's a lot of talks with like Marvel and where they're going and certain characters, because you know they've been having Guardians of the Galaxies for what, more than 10 years now? The first one came out 10 years ago, something like that. So of course a lot of those characters are not going to stick around. They have other projects to do, maybe retire, whatever. But you know they have it set up where they could continue it if they wanted to with these other characters they keep introducing with each film. Because Guardians of the Galaxy 1 started off with some characters, and 2 you get like 2 new characters that continue on with like the Avengers, and then third one there's more characters in there that you fall in love with that could carry on the movie or the franchise. But overall, Guardians of the Galaxies 3, fun movie, in and out. What do you think?
So we're not doing spoilers.
No spoilers.
We're not gonna ruin it for people. Damn it!
Do you want to?
I wanted to. I like ruining stuff. No,
Well,
no
okay,
spoilers.
give me a non-spoiler, and then we'll just.
Just do non-spoiler. It's fine.
Yeah.
My personal review, without spoilers. The first one. Let's talk about the Guardians of the Galaxy as a whole. Like you said, first one was good. I went into that movie going, "How is this going to be any good?" Like we were traditionally on Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, and the Hulk, and the other Avengers. To do a Guardians of the Galaxy, how's that going to tie in? What is this, Star Trek on steroids? Like, but when you watch it, you're like, oh wow, Marvel found a gem. I enjoyed it. It was the comic relief was good, the pace, the storyline, it was great. The second one was good too, not as great as the first, but I felt it was a little slower, like a little bit more fillers in there. The third one that just came out, start to finish, entertaining. It was full circle, puts everything together. I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it did really well in the box office. And I think Marvel's like, cool, we're gonna grow.
This is a movie definitely worth watching in theaters if you still have the chance.
Go to the theater, watch it, because get some popcorn, enjoy it. It's like 2.5 hours, I think, but
Because you have to think, going to the theaters now, it's going to be at least a $35 experience, right?
Yeah.
The ticket is going to be what, $15 a person now?
yeah, it's
Plus
crazy.
concessions,
Yep.
it's going to be like another $20, right?
Yep.
Because you want to get your popcorn. Dude, popcorn for a medium was
I
$9.30.
believe it. It's freaking
Like,
expensive.
holy crap, man.
That is crazy.
That is so crazy. So you have to take that into consideration if you want to enjoy a movie. So
But it's worth it. This movie's worth that
movie
price.
was worth it. Because for me to go to movie theaters now, like the movie has to be well worth it. It can't just be a regular B movie. This has to be knocked out of the park, or otherwise people are just going to wait for it to go on streaming services.
And the main bad guy was real good, I thought.
Great actor.
A great, not just actor, but storyline and everything. It's like another Thanos. He thinks he's in the right. He's delusional. I guess mad scientists and people like that are like that. They think they're doing it for the greater good.
I almost
Fantastic.
that is a character that could carry on as a villain.
Yeah, we didn't see him die.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think. I don't know. When you die in Marvel, you come back. I mean, they're gonna bring back Iron Man. There's lots of rumors that they want to bring back Robert Downey Jr. They want to bring back
I mean,
Chris
you can
Evans.
with the multiverse now,
100% you can.
right?
Just like we talked about the Flash, they're gonna be able to bring all those characters into light. Marvel's gonna be able to do the same thing because they have the multiverse. They have Doctor Strange 3 is gonna come out, and that's gonna be all kinds of craziness. They have their shows coming out. The Marvels. I mean, they have a lot of things coming out. That's like, how are you gonna connect everything? And Thanos might come back. They said that's gonna be interesting. You're not really dead in Marvel anymore.
Not anymore. Not with multiverse. But
Right.
but we will have a special guest here to carry on the conversation.
Yes,
more.
we are gonna try to get a hold of Sean here and jump on that. I think he's ready, so
So we'll go ahead and
we'll get that
connect
started.
that.
And we're back. This is Just Luke Show. We have our actual first guest, not live guest, but we're gonna have live guests. But it'd be kind of hard to have this person live since he lives all the way in Florida, Jacksonville. Is that correct, Sean?
Yeah.
Awesome. So Sean is our resident comic guru, movie guru that we're gonna have on. I'm very lucky to have him because he hates me. Just kidding. He knows everything. He knows everything movie. So I think he's a perfect person to have on here. And Danny, when you saw a picture of Sean, what did you think he looked like? Oh, he's not here now, but he said Lex Luthor, and I was like, no, he looks like Wilson Fisk from Daredevil. But anyways, so we'll just cut right into it, Sean. Let's get into what we talked about on the show that you'll see if you watch it. We talked about Guardians of the Galaxy, and we said, spoiler free, blah blah blah. I just got the green light from Danny. He said, go ahead, spill the beans. You saw it. What did you think? This is your time.
So, okay. So this is probably going to be pretty unpopular considering the popularity that this movie is actually garnering.
Oh, I love it.
I didn't really like it that much. It's an unpopular opinion, and let me preface everything I'm about to say in saying I'm not one of those jerk, comic book weirdos who's just everything has to be like it was in the books, and this was horrible, and I'm some kind of weird incel who lives in someone's basement reading comic books all the time. I'm not any of those things. I just like Marvel movies. I've always loved them. I've loved them since the beginning of the MCU, since Iron Man in '08. I've always been a big fan. Obviously, from my background, see, I like comic books quite a bit. So, it's one of those things where I was really excited to see the movie. Loved the first Guardians, especially. I think Guardians 1 is one of the highest points of the MCU ever. So I love James Gunn. I loved a lot of the stuff he's done. Suicide Squad was wonderful. I love Peacemaker. I think he's a great storyteller, incredible director, and he just seems like a really cool guy too. So It kind of disappointed me when I just didn't really connect with this movie the way that a lot of other people unfortunately are. I wrote a really long-winded kind of review on my Facebook because I use Facebook because I'm old, and it's one of those situations where it just didn't connect with me. There are parts of it that work really well. I think that the Rocket storyline is certainly the strongest part of the entire film. I really like that. But there are parts of the film that just don't really work for me, and so it really just kind of came down to it was a middling experience and kind of the low end of the middle for me, and it just kind of felt like too James Gunny. If that's a word, I'm going to invent it. But it just kind of was kind of focusing on really all the stuff that James Gunny kind of does with his characters and the storylines he likes to tell, and just kind of felt just kind of almost kind of rehashy of a lot of the stuff that I typically see from him. And I don't know. I think for me, the Guardians have just kind of worn out their welcome. I didn't think the second was all that great. I thought it was okay. Like I said, I love the first. I think the first is wonderful.
No, I agree with
This
you.
one just, yeah, every Guardians film for me has just been kind of just a decline in terms of quality, in terms of, just do I really care about these characters? And I kind of did a little bit of a review kind of in my head about it. And I was just thinking, I don't really connect with a lot of these characters. I think that when it comes into like Peter Quill, for instance, it is fine. I really loved the way that Chris Pratt was portraying the character in the first movie. I thought he was wonderful. He kind of felt like, a 9-year-old man basically who was kind of playing Han Solo, and I loved that approach to the character. And then, as the other film, obviously, in the series kind of progress, you just kind of see this character trying to grow a little bit. I don't necessarily know if I really like the growth of the character, to be honest with you. His relation to Gamora has obviously changed with, what happened with Endgame and everything. And I don't know, it just doesn't really connect with me. Groot has kind of just not been all that entertaining to me, especially in this third film. I thought they didn't do a lot with him, unfortunately. And I really hated the "I love you" thing at the end. I don't know why. That just
It just didn't rub you the right way. No, I get it. You said something that was interesting. I had to write in my notes here. You said you're a big James Gunn fan.
I love James Gunn. Yeah,
We know you like Marvel. What about DC? Do you have an opinion on DC?
I definitely have an opinion. I mean, I've always been a Marvel guy ever since I was a kid. I've always liked Batman. I've always said that he's my favorite DC character. But I like DC. I don't love them to the degree I love Marvel, certainly, but I definitely, appreciate them. I think really what it comes down to for me, I've always looked at DC in a different way. The way that they approach their books has typically been different. Um, since about 2014, ever since the New 52 kind of ended, and I don't know how much you know about this stuff, but
Not at all. That's
they
why
went
you're
ahead
on.
and they kind of yeah they kind of recalibrated their storytelling, and so what they did was they kind of rebooted a lot of stuff, and so they went ahead and started releasing these new number ones, and that's something that Marvel does all the time, and it infuriates collectors and fans like me. But DC typically doesn't. So, you have Detective Comics in literally over 1,000 issues at this point. It's been around since 1938 or whatever. And so you've been in a position where you've got, this continuity. And so, it felt for a lot of people very impenetrable. It was really the bigger issue. And so it was an issue for a lot of people where they just said, well, I don't know where to start. I've seen, Michael Keaton, or I've seen Christian Bale, I've seen Val Kilmer or whatever, some movie, and I want to start reading, Batman books. And so they just go to their local comic book shop and they buy, Batman number 794, and thinking, like, okay, this is okay, like, what do I do here? And so for a lot of people, they just kind of felt that they were kind of jumping into the deep end. They didn't really have any kind of connection or continuity. And so, that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Understandably so. And so when it came down to it, they went ahead and started a whole new reset basically of the entire DC universe. And so they started with a Superman, a Batman, a Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, all the core characters of the Justice League. And they went ahead and started all these number ones again. And so I jumped in at that point because I never collected Batman books to a large degree. I had, a smattering of, whatever throughout my life, but never, anything where I like consistently collected, each individual issue. And so I loved what they kind of did with it. And so, kind of coming back to what I was initially saying, though, they tend to focus a little bit more on trying to really kind of tell a more almost adult story than Marvel does.
Right.
Marvel Comics tends to be focused a little bit more on keeping things a little bit more playful, we'll just say. A little bit sweeter, a little bit cuter, a little bit more kid-oriented, even if they're certainly not targeted towards children, because
Right.
children don't read comic books. Let's just be perfectly clear here. Kids don't read comic books anymore. When I was 8 years old and reading X-Men every month, that
That doesn't
no longer
no longer
happens.
exists. Correct.
Yeah, kids watch TV shows, they watch cartoons, they watch movies. So that's how they connect with these characters, and that's why this stuff is so important, and why these shared universe stories and everything are so important. But it's about merchandising. It's about selling the next movie. It's about getting them to connect with other types of product. But it's really not going to get really kids to read comic books. The cost is ridiculous. It's $4 plus a book now. That's insane.
Let me ask you this.
Unless you have, good money.
Let me ask you this real quick. When's the last time you've been to a comic store?
Let's see here. About a week ago.
All right. Do you think it has anything to do with the average cost of a comic now?
No, well, there's a few different things. So cost is certainly a factor, but the thing is, they're not targeted to children. When it comes down to it, if you're a kid and you want to read a comic book, there's a means to do so. There are ways to do it. You can go into a comic book shop. You can download them on your your iPad or whatever.
Kindle or iPad.
You can get them any way you want. The thing is that they're not targeted to kids. So when I go ahead and read my X-Men books or whatever, the stuff that's like going on, like ongoing, like new stuff right now, it's not for children. It's not targeted to them. And so, there's nothing really for, kids to really kind of connect to or latch onto at that point because it's not for them. DC does the same thing. So, it's not focused towards that kind of stuff. And it's fun because like I go back and read, my X-Men books from like the 80s or other, comics, whatever else. They're more accessible than they are now. And they kind of follow more traditional kind of classic storylines basically and arcs and things of that nature. They don't really do anymore. Now Marvel, for instance, has gone very, very heavy into the socio-political landscape, harder than they ever really have before. And keep in mind that they've always kind of played along in those things. If you look at like Chris Claremont, who everyone kind of realizes or kind of connects basically to the X-Men, for instance, he wrote consistently, literally every book from 1976 until 1991, 17 years. Every single X-Men book that was written by Chris Claremont. He also did other books too, like Excalibur and New Mutants and stuff like that. So he was doing all these things, and so he was a shepherd. He was the voice of all these characters. He created the versions of the characters that we all know from the movies and TV shows and everything else now.
Well, I remember when I was young, I used to buy comics at like Circle K, 7-Eleven. 75 cents or $1. Like, how much is a comic book now? If I went to a comic book store, $4.
About $4. So yeah, and depending on what you're getting, sometimes it can be more. So certain books obviously are bigger. They'll charge a premium for them, or they'll be a larger size. So they'll charge a premium, or they'll have like a specialized cover. And Marvel is especially really, really bad about this, but DC does it too. where they have exclusive covers. Basically, they go ahead and sell the same book to various online retailers like Unlimited Comics or something like that. And so then you're basically getting like some kind of specialized cover by a death artist that's different from the standard one that you would buy at your local shop. But then the idea basically is that you get specialized art, you go ahead and maybe it's a more of a collector's item, something that you can go ahead and slap on your, send out to get created, like the books behind you and that kind of thing. Like all of those are variant covers, basically.
I'm looking at your background right now. I'm seeing obviously you have some figures, some posters. You have some stuff that looks like they're numbered. Are those like comic book covers or?
So what those are called graded comic books. So when you basically go ahead and have a book that you want to go ahead and kind of protect for posterity, you basically go ahead and you send it off to a couple of different companies, either CGC or CBCS are the two most popular. And then basically go ahead and they'll look at it, fine tune
review it,
and they'll go ahead and grade it anywhere from a 10, which is extraordinarily rare, most common, like high-end grade you can basically get as a 9.8, which is pretty much whatever grade,
pretty high.
Every collector really wants. The 9.8 is like the gold standard. And then anything below that, you go to 9.8, 9.6, and 9.4, all the way down to 1, basically, or 0.5 actually, or not even graded, they even do. So it depends on the condition, obviously, of the book. And so the higher the grade, obviously, the higher the value.
More value.
It typically is. So, yeah. So it's fun for me to get stuff graded and I can throw it on my wall. Or I also have 4 different cases back here that you can't see off camera.
Oh, no worries.
Full of
I do see you have a big X-Men sign. Are you a big X-Men buff or?
That's my
That's your jam. That's your jam. What is it about the X-Men you like?
What is there to love? So for me, growing up, the way I kind of connected with the X-Men was I always kind of felt like an outcast, and so that's really kind of the way that X-Men basically are. There's a really, really funny thing I saw on Facebook years ago, and I've seen it since, and it's just funny. It said, the Avengers are the jocks in high school, and the X-Men are the weird kids under the bleachers smoking. That's kind of what it is, basically. The Avengers are the cute, good-looking, popular.
The jocks, yep.
And the X-Men are the X-Men are the weirdos. And so that's what I've always connected with, is I've always connected with mutants,
Who's your number one?
Oh, Archangel.
Archangel. Who's that?
Yeah. So, long story, really cut it down short, because we don't have that much time. There's like 60 years of history with this character. Angel was originally part of the original 5. If you look back there.
Yep.
On that comic book cover, that's X-Men number 1.
Oh, wow.
That's literally their first book. And so that one is, it originally is Scott Summers of Cyclops, Iceman, Bobby Drake. They got Beast, Hank. I can't remember Hank's name suddenly. That's Riley. And then of course Jean Grey, and then Bobby, and then of course we got Warren Worthington the third, or Angel, and so you basically got these characters, and then of course you have Professor X and X-Men, and so ultimately it starts from there. And so the character of Warren Worthington the third was this really, really good-looking, blonde, incredibly wealthy mutant who has wings, and they call him the Angel, and he's got like a white angel wings, whatever else. And he would like that basically from 1963 when the book was started, all the way up until the late 80s when he was converted over by a villain named Apocalypse, who's also my favorite villain, incidentally. And he ends up actually in an X-Men comic book getting injured in the sewers under New York City by this group of mutants called the Morlocks, or I was trying to say the Morlocks, by this group of mutants called the Marauders. And the Marauders are these bad guys, basically, and so one of them ends up injury in his wing. He ends up having to go to the hospital. It becomes gangrenous. They end up having to amputate it, and he falls into a deep depression and decides he's going to kill himself. And so he ends up actually blowing up his helicopter that he gets into. And right before the helicopter explodes, he dies. He actually gets teleported away by this villain named Apocalypse. So if you saw X-Men Apocalypse, you kind of see, who those characters are.
Yep.
The story that they tell in that movie completely different from anything that happened in the books, but that's okay. And so that's kind of what it is. So the idea basically for me is I've always loved the duality of the character.
Nice.
Going from someone who's incredibly privileged and has everything seemingly,
What-
and then ends up becoming this version of himself. That's
What movies are you excited for coming up?
ooh, let's see here. What am I really excited for right now? I've seen a ton of movies already this year. Okay, we've got 21 movies I've already seen at the theater this year.
Or I should say, superhero movie that's coming out.
What's coming out later on this year?
The Flash?
We've got Aquaman still coming out. Okay, whatever. I wasn't really all that impressed with the first Aquaman. I thought it was fine. We've got Secret Invasion coming on Disney Plus. We've got Daredevil coming out, Born Again coming out. That's going to be cool. Again on Disney Plus. We've got the Marvels coming out in theaters. So the Marvels looks like fun. I like that trailer. Like I said earlier, I'm not one of those guys who hates Brie Larson. I consider myself to be a feminist, so I kind of appreciated and kind of respected what she said personally, which is again an unpopular opinion in that circle of fandom, but I think she's right in a lot of ways.
What is she right about? Because I'm not sure I know. Do you know about Brie?
So Brie Larson played
Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Yep.
And so she gave an interview during the press of the first movie, basically saying how there's toxic masculinity and there's a toxic fandom that's prevalent in the fandom, and she was absolutely right. And so, unfortunately, still to this day, 4 years later, I think the movie came out in 2019. These guys just can't get over the fact that she kind of called them out, and they hate her for it. And so, still to this day, if you go on, any kind of comic book forum and whatever else, there's going to be people that support her and say, that. He praise on her, and I'll be one of those people. I like her. I think she's a talented actor. But then there are the guys that just freak out, can't stand her. They have this unwavering hatred towards a person for speaking out their mind and kind of, calling out their toxic, fandom, basically.
No, I liked her. I thought she was great. I thought she did a great job. I'm looking forward to the second one. I thought she was good. But we'll see what happens with the next movie that comes out. What about The Flash? Are you looking forward to? I know it's a DC movie, but are you looking forward to that movie? And why?
Heck yeah, it looks like fun. So The Flash is a story called Flashpoint, based on a book series called Flashpoint. It's a great story arc, and basically the idea that Barry Allen is trying to save his mother. He actually is able to time travel due to the fact that he can go so fast. So he actually ends up going to a different alternate reality where his mother exists, and of course it's a comic book, everything goes wrong. But that's the story they're telling here. It's a modified version of it, so you get to see alternate versions of various characters. That's why we get to see the Michael Keaton Batman. There's also going to be, obviously, they showed the trailer, so this is not spoiling anything. But Ben Affleck's Batman is going to be in there as well, and so we're going to be able to see these alternate versions of these characters, and the reviews are stupendous. So I'm totally excited. I can't wait. Yeah.
No, it looks really good. I'm excited. I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited to see Kara. I'm excited to see Michael Keaton. It's DC's going to go through a big time change, but you know what? I'm going to bring something up. I'm going to talk, since you know everything comics. What is going on with Kang?
Okay. So what's going on? So nothing really right now has actually happened necessarily with Jonathan Majors. as far as like his future with Marvel. Nothing has been set in stone. Nothing's been discussed. You can see clickbait articles online and stuff, saying things are happening. I don't follow any of that crap because it's not verifiable, and therefore it's not worth my time. But yeah. So at this point, we really don't know. The last word I actually got just the other day from reading was that they said that they had set Loki season 2 at Disney Plus, and supposedly that's going to solidify the future direction of the Kane character. So we'll see. But I mean, if you saw Quantumania, and I'm sure you did, you see at the end of that, obviously, where you see all the alternate versions of Kang and everything else. You see Ramatut, Tud, and everybody else. So you see all these different versions of the same character. So it's a sticky situation that they're in. But it's something that I think will be resolved in some way. I always loved the Kang character. Growing up in the 80s, I remember one of the first series I ever read was Secret Wars. So the reason that I got into comic books was actually the Secret Wars action figures. Those were the first superhero figures really I ever remember really buying. And so, I started reading the comic books, and Kang became one of my favorite characters along with Doom.
Really?
Along with Magneto.
Doom is a
And so that was
badass.
my entry.
Doom's like, I can't wait till they bring him into this Marvel universe.
Oh yeah, the MCU is going to be great. There's actually talk, and I don't know how real this is, but supposedly they've been trying to talk to what is his name from Drive and from the Barbie movie, Ryan Gosling. Supposedly, Ryan Gosling has been approached to
Wow.
play Victor Von Doom. So I don't know if that's true.
That's
or
a
not,
big
but
role.
That's what I've heard.
That,
Yeah.
that's a big play, and I hope he doesn't think that he's just gonna be a bad guy, because Doom is one of the ultimate characters at the end of the day. Wow, that's interesting. Who's gonna play?
He's definitely more. Yeah, he's definitely more nuanced than just a traditional bad guy. There was actually a Doom mini-series. I think it was like 8 issues or something that Marvel did about 3 years ago now. Fantastic. Really, really good writing. Really kind of did a different kind of take on the character and kind of focused specifically on his it's a power struggle story where basically he loses his rule over Liberia, the fictional Eastern European country that he rules over, and it's a really cool story. If you're into comic books and you want to read like a quick little thing, the Doom story from a few years ago, the Doom miniseries, was really good.
What about? What are you hearing about the Fantastic Four?
So supposedly, they have casted them. They have not announced anything. Obviously, we would have heard about it. I've heard a lot of different rumors of people saying that people like Emma Stone was approached, but I guess she didn't sign on. But supposedly, they have solidified the cast at this point, and it hasn't been announced at this point. But eventually, soon it should be. So that's really all we know so far.
Who are the front runners for Mr. Fantastic?
Man, I wish I would have prepared for this one. I don't know. Who was it? I could look it up online. That's going to be awkward to do on camera.
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, but supposedly, I don't really know. Yeah, no one's coming.
They're not going to keep the guy that they just had for Doctor Strange.
No. So supposedly, what's his name? Krasinski.
Yeah, Josh.
Is not going to be. Is not going to play Reed Richards, who, I mean, he looks just like the character.
I thought he would be great.
He is phenomenal. Yeah, and a lot of people did. A lot of people thought that, Emma.
His wife.
Whatever from the product, would play,
Sue Storm.
her as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that'd be a great casting right there.
I'm not against it. Here's the thing. I'm not really a big Fantastic Four guy. I never really.
I don't know too many people that
have
are.
anything against them. Yeah. Fantastic Four represents a very, very a wonderful part of Marvel, being that it's the first family of Marvel. They were literally the first comic book that Stan Lee wrote as a superhero comic book. They launched the Marvel universe. So what their impact is can't be understated. I'll always respect them for that. The thing that Fantastic Four, I think, kind of always did for me personally, was they were kind of a great springboard to introduce fantastic characters that go on to have a better life outside of being
Right.
related to the Fantastic Four. But for people that love that character and that story and that family, they're wonderful. It just never really resonated with me, and always kind of felt a little hokey. That was just
Yeah.
always kind of my thing, and that's the problem with a lot of the characters that they had. That's why X-Men always kind of resonated with me. Is I love the concept of found family. I love the concept of the outcast. And the Marvel, and you look at Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four are all passing. They can walk down the street and they'll look normal, but you can't walk next to the guy covered in blue fur, or the guy that looks like a devil, or the whatever. So I always like the idea of the others. I think that's always a really, really interesting dynamic and concept to explore.
So I'm a big Logan fan, right? I like Wolverine. I love his character. Real quick, I know we don't have too much time. Deadpool coming out, the announcement of, Hugh Jackman coming back. Do you think that was because of the pressure of the people? That's what the people wanted to see and they caved in? Or do you think they've always had that in the back of their mind that they were going to do that?
It's money, man.
Yeah?
It all comes down to money. It's all about the do-re-mi. Yeah. So the thing is that Ryan Reynolds wanted to be able to finally do a movie where he got to be Deadpool, and obviously work with Wolverine, because obviously we all saw how great Wolverine Origins went. So it came down to wanting to do that, and obviously Hugh Jackman said he would never come back. I believed him. I thought he wasn't going to. Yeah, I didn't really expect this. And you throw a Brinks truck at somebody's door, they're gonna do it.
I'm excited.
So yeah, a lot of people are, and that's fine. And I'm happy for you. I'm happy for people that are fans of the character. I'm not a Wolverine guy. I think Wolverine is great. I have nothing against him. He's not my favorite character, but he's one of those characters that. He's the perfect entry point for most people. He really is. And the great thing about the character, unlike most other characters, is that you can pretty much plop him down into any kind of circumstance or situation, and it works. And that's what makes the character so compelling and interesting to watch and to read, because you can kind of you can put him in feudalistic Japan, and it works just as well as putting him in modern day New York City. Not many characters can kind of do that.
Nope.
So he's a great character. I have nothing against him. He's not my favorite. He's probably not, he's certainly not my top 5. But when he's written right, he's fantastic. I think that Hugh Jackman did an incredible job for the character. He's nothing like Wolverine. That's always kind of been my jab. That's always been my issue with him. He's 6'1".
Yeah, he's 5'7", right? Wolverine?
Yeah, he's 5'4". Yeah.
4. Wow.
Yeah, Danny DeVito would be closer, even though Danny DeVito's actually a little shorter. But yeah, I mean, like, he's 5'4". He's a little man, and he's full of hair and gross. He's ugly. He's battle scarred. That's that character. And so obviously Hugh Jackman is the complete antithesis of that. But with that being said, what he's brought to the character, to the character and to the role, fantastic. Again, no one's understating what he's done. It's just that I really kind of hope personally for me, and again, if I were the one who was kind of in charge of the MCU, I was working with Kevin Feige, or if I was Kevin Feige, what I would go ahead and do for the X-Men is to try to do something as a closer approximation, if possible, whenever possible,
Correct.
to the actual comic books themselves, because the fans, like myself, hold them in such high esteem that ultimately I think it's a way to kind of separate yourself from the Fox X-Men, which for a lot of people like myself, again, feel that, Fox took a lot of liberties and a lot of unnecessary liberties at that, with the characters and with their portrayal and with what they did.
I got someone for you.
Basically.
Harry Potter. Put Harry Potter as Wolverine.
Oh, Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, he's
a
short.
lot of people have said that. Yeah, I've heard that casting rumor or that casting suggestion or whatever fan cast.
Who's the perfect cast? If you were casting in Hollywood right now, who would you put in?
I wouldn't put anybody. Okay, so let me explain. Let me give you two alternatives here. One, if I'm going to do an X-Men movie right now, personally, I'm not even introducing the character in that first movie. Because the problem with Wolverine is that he becomes too big of a scene stealer too quickly, and so he takes the shine off other characters.
I agree.
And so the problem that you basically run into that character is the fact that suddenly now the focus always kind of focuses over to Logan, and the focus is away from Storm, or Cyclops, or Jean Grey, or Beast, or Iceman, or whomever it is you're going to put in the movie. And so suddenly now you are taking all this screen time or all the attention and putting it over on everyone's favorite Canuck.
Right.
That's okay. But I say you wouldn't do it. So personally, I would do it this way. One, I wouldn't introduce a character in the first movie. I probably wouldn't even introduce him in the second. I would probably go ahead and do something kind of like they did in the in Batman Begins, where I would kind of have some kind of a teaser, something along the lines of maybe if you want to do kind of like a comic book accurate kind of version of it, where basically they say like there's something happening out in the wilds of Canada. The Hulk is going to go there to go ahead and kind of see what's going on. There's a Wendigo issue or whatever else, and take it back to Incredible Hulk number 180, and kind of do it that way, so you can kind of get the fans to freak out the fact that, oh my god, they're going to have Wolverine in the movie, but make it work within the context of the storyline, and so obviously do it that way. The other thing I would probably do is I wouldn't actually have Wolverine be Logan. I would be X-23 or Laura Kinney. She actually holds the moniker of Wolverine as well right now. And I think that she's a great character. She's just as compelling, in a lot of ways actually more compelling than Logan is, at least to me, or can be. And so ultimately, instead of making it so that Logan has all the baggage that he brings from the Fox X-Men, you can kind of have your Wolverine, but you can have it with a different character, obviously, in that role, and have a whole different storyline basically to kind of tell, which I think would be really interesting. Or a third option is just don't have Wolverine. There's plenty of great storylines where Wolverine just doesn't appear in the X-Men, and that's fine too. I think ultimately, I would probably want to see, because I know realistically he's going to have to show up. He's too popular not to. Probably have individual storylines, basically, where he has individual movies.
Yeah.
And he can kind of come in, basically, in little, things in the actual overall X-Men movies, but have almost kind of like set, like a separate, kind of like X-verse, if you will. But then, you can obviously have him kind of playing in both sandboxes and having his own individual, movies, which obviously sell because Wolverine does, always does, always will. And then you can also have it, where he can kind of show up in the X-Men movies, but not necessarily be the primary focus.
I agree with you there. But we're running out of time here, Sean. I want to thank you for coming on, last minute here. But we should do this again. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Whatever you want.
You know everything there is with these comic movies, so I appreciate that. And, next time let's talk about your Hawks, or your Falcons, I should say, and go from there. Obviously you don't have time today, but we'll talk football here in the near future.
Sounds good, man.
Right.
I'll I have my Bijan Robinson jersey on its way, so maybe I'll be wearing that next time.
Absolutely. And show us your favorite comic next time we talk.
Like
your most
right behind me, actually. So right, right there behind me. over my ear.
What is it?
Yeah, it's actually. I'll show it to you. Give me one second.
There it is.
So this is Captain Britain number 8, and this is the first introduction of Psylocke. Her name's Betsy Braddock.
Yep.
She actually only is Betsy Braddock in this. She's actually so my second favorite comic book character. Actually, that
I see it.
purple
Yep.
poster I have. That's Psylocke right there.
I know what that is.
That's way later. But yeah, so this is actually
Awesome.
my favorite comic book. Well, definitely one of them. It's probably one of my most
Yeah,
valuable.
we're gonna get cut off
signed by
here
Chris
real
Claremont.
quick. So I just want to end it here. So I don't want to get cut off. But this is Sean McNally. Want to thank him, and then we're gonna have him on again if he comes on. I don't know. Maybe he gets off and he doesn't like us. But that's all we have for this week. We'll see you guys soon. Take care, Sean.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.